Right. Um, that's actually a very interesting question because it reminds me of something that you said earlier in our conversation, and that is simply, you know, knowing what exactly. So you said that what leads to self-analysis, right? So for a person to be able to analyze themselves, first thing they need to be attentive to their needs,
Uh,
attentive to their own body, right? So it brings it all back to the attention span, on how much attention span you're giving on yourself. When you're getting thirsty, how often do you get thirsty? How often do you want to go to pee? How often do you drink coffee in a day? So all these little things are, like experiences in our mind. And when when, like, for example, if somebody goes to a coffee shop and knows that, okay, I want my coffee extra strong, no sugar, and I want it at drinking temperature, I don't want it hot. It is knowing, it's like an inner calling, because what informs that is your experience. You might have had a very light coffee in the past, or you might have had a very sweet coffee in the past, and you know that, okay, it simply doesn't suit your palate. So you want it tailor made for yourself. So you're being attentive to your own needs. And that is what I think leads to this self analysis. And you're already doing it. Every person is already doing it day in and day out through every task. What leads to a change, like when you're intending to change yourself, is channeling all that energy that you're paying, all that attention that you're paying on these small things into that one thing.
uh,
So yeah, so that's what I feel. And I'll give you my own experience with my like something that I have been through. And that is, I think growing up I was not very confident of um, how I weighed, or how much I what was my body weight or how I looked. So in the back of my head, there used to be, so when I was a child I was very skinny. When I was in my teenage, I started putting on a lot of weight. So
okay.
it's like, people around you, they're always unhappy and they set these standards for you.
Yeah.
So for me, in the back of my head, every time I ate something or every time I went somewhere, this constant alarm, not like an alarm, it's like a background noise that kept on going, that, okay, you know what, you're putting on weight, you know what, your tummy is bulging out,
Yeah.
these things. And it's very subtle, but it's always there. It's like a background noise,
Yeah.
as simple as the fans sound when you go to sleep. So
Yeah.
it's there always, but it doesn't bother you that much. What happens eventually is that, um, there comes, I don't think it's like a singular point in your life when you realize that you need to control yourself or you need to pay attention to this, but a series of experiences which leads you into a point in life where you realize that, okay, I need to stop. So the attention would always be there, the analysis is always there, it's just that it's subdued. The emphasis on is on something else, and the process is delayed because, again, self control is an issue. So the process is delayed, and there is this point when you decide that, okay, I am going to do this to lose weight. And when the intention comes from within, when you have that inner drive, when you have that goal to do it yourself, not when somebody else asks you to do it, the output is, you know outstanding. That's what I feel.
Okay. Couple of questions because you there was a longish answer and I got nice random thoughts running in all directions. But I asked you one when you said that the analysis is always on, but we've got to bring it to a point where it is a lot more focused. Um, is it, say for example, we continue your example. So if you knew that weight was an issue, I have other things to say about taking other people's views as your own, but that is a separate conversation perhaps by itself. But so you know that you're doing this, and still you are indulging yourself in that extra slice of cheese pizza or whatever it is that you fancy at that moment. are we are we escaping the truth? Are we escapists in that moment? I'm just asking you. I'm not judging also. Is this one way? Because it kind of saves our sanity. See, everybody around you is saying that you're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this. There is no dearth of people putting you down. Your own background voice, which has been replaced by other voices sometimes, because sometimes you may not have a problem with your weight at all. Like I have a friend who is quite healthy, and every time we joke, so I think he builds up on the joke very well. And me, the community that I come from, Sardar jokes have been a part of my life forever, and I've always enjoyed a good joke, which is not nasty. Like I never like the 12 o'clock thing where people wanted to be nasty to me. So that wasn't enjoyable. But if it is a good joke that even I can laugh at, so that is a healthy sense of uh, being able to look at oneself. So my question to you is, you know it that is bad for you. You know everybody is saying this. Maybe it's a sign of protest. It's a sign of escaping from the intense pressure that everybody is putting on you, or you are putting on yourself. Is that something that we do consciously or subconsciously?
I partly agree with you on this because again, I don't know why I keep going back to a child's example, but when you push something too much on a child's mind, they tend to rebel it. So that's human instinct. When something is forced upon a human, you tend to rebel it more often than, accepting it. Okay. So that's how, all these things happened in the world when, like people were like trying to rule over India, and then suddenly everything was different for the people over there, and then everybody wanted to rebel. So when something's forced upon you, you tend to rebel. So my point is, when people around you start telling you to lose weight, more likely you feel like antagonizing them, you feel like going against what they want. So sometimes, you know like, depending on how an individual's mind functions, for example, for me, I am more of a person who will be like, okay, I should listen to them. So I am more accepting. But there are people who have a very strong need to not listen to another person and do what they feel is right. Right. So that may happen. It may happen. It is totally subjective again. And another thing is that we do indulge ourselves. I won't deny that. We consciously indulge ourselves, but not because we want to, or because we are being dishonest. Because, like I said, we always know that, okay, this is going to cause this. So that itself shows being honest. Right. So if I eat an extra piece of cheese pizza, I'm going to put on these many kilos or whatever. I know that that's going to happen. I do it anyway because there are two things. One is that, humans are very curious. They are curious beings. If they are, if something is in front of them, and you put them in a closed room and ask them to fold their hands and sit and not touch, like the recent chocolate challenge on Instagram that all the parents were uploading with their kids, you have the tendency to touch it. So when you know that you don't should not be doing it, you still do it anyway to see maximum what will happen. And this is a dialogue that one of my ex colleagues where I used to work before said always: maximum what will happen if you do it. So yeah, you are in a way playing with fire, in a way, and you do it anyway. So I think that's how it works.
And what is the second point? You said this is one of the points. And the second reason one would eat it
Yeah.
is,
So the second point is that you indulge because you want to indulge, not because somebody told you not to, but you want to do it because that's your priority. You like doing it, you enjoy doing it. You get my point?
yes. Okay. I want to take a detour from here into a different slant to the conversation. Uh, See, we've been talking about uh, attention spans. Somehow, the idea is more mental than physical. As the conversation went, one realizes it is more to do with the mind and how priorities, discipline, honesty to look at oneself or self-analyze more consciously can help. But one part which is not part of this conversation necessarily, but I like it as a thought, so I would want to pursue it to see where it goes. There is so many people telling us so much of knowledge being available. We are called the Google generation, and everything is easy for us. Uh, so I find a lot of us. I find myself both at an advantage and a disadvantage. I'll give you a real-time example to set the context a little better. When we used to work in the pre-internet age, if I were to call it, we used to use the computers, but it was mainly to send uh, official emails. There was one software called Lotus that we used to use, and there was no internet per se. So our internet, because I was in advertising, so say for example, just to continue the boutique example. So if you come to me, so what I'll do is I'll search for magazines, look at similar things or dissimilar things. In my case, I always went out of the box to look at, okay, what else can I contextualize and put it in your communication which makes it new. So for example, if I'm working on an engineering brochure, I would sit and read about watches or traveling, just to see how the two can interject at some point of time so that I can come up with a third thing or something like that. But it always took effort, it always took courage, it always took a lot of knowledge to come to the point where I started doing your work, because I had to come to you and be better than you. You knew your business better than me, but I had to show that I understood your business, but I had come up with an idea that surprised you. So that took a lot of work. Now that same amount of work, I think within 10 years of my joining, we had Google happening, and there were juniors coming and working under me. And when I gave them work, they were not as good at it because they found it very easy. So if I were to praise something, they said, yeah, I found it on the second page. So their hard work was going from page number 1 to page number 2 of the search. And it was there. And they went directly to images. So they've cracked the image and the line both. And I'm like, okay, you just shortchange yourself. Do you know that? But they had no clue that they were shortchanging themselves. And because you, so to cut a long story short, basically you go through a lot of effort and then the juice comes out in any amount of work, in any, sorry, field of work. So for example, if you're a therapist, you will realize over and over, you can never sit with a kid or whatever it is that you do, say a bunch of kids or some other thing that you do. You cannot take it for granted that I know. Because every now and then, one kid or somebody will do something that you were unprepared. And if you're not attentive, sometimes you just miss the point. And at that point, you're always challenged. So now, unless you've been attentive, unless you focused on your field before this, unless you understood the entire expanse of what the field is about, studied more or gone into depth, my question is, do you think it is the ease of information flow that is also one of the reasons that we are unable to focus on for a long time? Because everything is very split second.
Yes, I understand your question, and I surprisingly, this is what I say day in and day out, because when I deal with my clients, I feel that more often than not, they have it easy. I feel like some, not the clients, not the kids, but the generation, they have it easy because everything is at one click. But somehow I feel like giving you the other side of the story as well, in the sense that
Please.
it might be easy, and it might look easy, but what's happening here is that when I say that every person has a different experience growing up. So if we compare one generation to another generation, okay, and if we do a cross comparison, the experiences that they grew in are completely different. So the comparison between those two generations and the things that were available in, say, your generation or somebody to somebody else's generation who are much younger to you wouldn't be a fair comparison, I feel. um
Yeah, okay. This is not
yeah,
more from a comparison point of view. It is, okay, let me rephrase the question then.
right,
Sorry to interrupt you there.
that's
Do you
fine.
think our way of communicating with each other, thanks to messaging, Instagram, uh, everything is at a click in the sense of availability. There is no, so I want it and I get it in the next second.
Right,
From
right,
food to fashion to everything is now going online, and with the lockdown. So if that was so, why would be so many people be depressed in lockdown? Because everything in a way was far more easily available online within a month or so. Initially it
right,
wasn't, but later it wasn't such a big deal. So
right.
I mean, in the sense of instant gratification that we get,
Yes,
is it
yes.
is it a deterrent to paying attention? Because I know if not this next one, if not this next one, uh, does that
Yes,
make it
brilliant.
okay? Now the question is it much more difficult to make a choice because you're spoiled for choice now?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So that's that's intelligent actually, because it's true, when you have so much choice and when everything is one click away, it has a direct impact on your impulse control. So impulse control is, like you use the term instant gratification. So impulse control is when you don't have that one thing that avoids you, prevents you from getting instant gratification. So it's that. So what happens is, when you have so much availability and everything is so easy to get, you lose your impulse control, you lose your, um, patience, you lose your tolerance. And attention span being another function, another cognitive function, another function of your brain, I feel definitely there is a direct relation, because um, I wouldn't say that impulse control belongs to the same part in the brain. The function is not governed by the same area in the brain. I hope I'm not wrong, but I feel that there would be some direct relation in that. Yes. So the answer is yes, definitely, because everything is easily available. It could have a direct impact in the attention span somehow. Yes.
So